We're free2cycle. We're an initiative set up off the back of a conversation that two chaps had together a couple of years ago. And I'll paraphrase a little bit, and they said, what if we could give every person who was obese, they didn't use the word obese, a free bike? What would we do? Thank you. What would we do to helping our NHS? What would we do to helping organisations? And generally, how could we actually help society as a whole by giving them a free bike? And we decided to build an initiative that essentially gives everybody a free bike. All you have to do is ride it. So, how are we doing that? We work with organisations in the corporate space, and we work with them across their well-being initiatives. So it's a huge buzzword at the moment, and we're looking to improve health, our environment, and also obviously productivity within organisations. So simply put, we put people on bicycles in order to do that. We get people riding in order to do that. The well-being side of things currently is a multi-million-pound industry, and we have a real opportunity to tap into that. Free2cycle are the link between retail and that industry. We can do an awful lot more to grow the cycling economy, and that needs to be us putting people on bikes. We need to get more people introduced to this, and we need to give more people access to it. So we believe that together, working with retail, we can get more people on bikes and enhance their lives and our environment. So how do we do that? So when we work with businesses, they sign up as a sponsor. They say, we want our people to do this initiative. They sign up as a sponsor, and people then step forward and say, do you know what, I want to get involved with this. I am going to pledge to do 20 miles per week. That 20 miles we then equate to a bike value, and they can choose a whole host of bikes, approximately £360. Once they've pledged that amount, all they have to do is do 20 miles per week, and that bike is free. That process obviously involves an online registration, and obviously they then pick their bike up from a local bike shop retailer. So this is where that retail string comes in. Now, why would an employer pay for somebody else's bike? They get that bike for free because for every mile they ride, their employer gives approximately 20 pence per mile. That in effect pays for their bike. That covers it. That employer sees the benefit because it's better for the environment. More and more businesses these days are talking about corporate social responsibility and sustainability. And this is a massive tick in the box for them. If they can have 20% of their workforce commuting by bike, it's a huge tick in the box for business. It's obviously improving the health and well-being of their employees, which is fantastic. We all know, and all studies show, that these days, if you have a happy, healthy employee, they are more productive. That bounce that people have when they come into work is infectious. It creates better organisations as a whole. Organisations are constantly surveying how their people feel to get a gauge of how that business is performing. So having more and more people feeling good, happy and healthy on their bikes is vital for those organisations. How does it work with the retailer? We've set up a really simple system that makes life easy for bike retailers. And this is the most important thing, I think, for a lot of the people who are here today. You're notified of a new order on our system. That order is direct with the manufacturer. The bike arrives with you and is prepared by you, and that generates a system-generated notification to our cyclist saying your bike's ready to come and pick up from your local bike shop. They then come down and say hello to you, look at their shiny new bike, collect that in store, and we then transfer the funds for that bike to you within 7 days. It's that simple. We're looking for more and more retailers to join us as part of this network. All of our bikes are sold at RRP. We offer 25% commission on each bike to our retailers. This obviously increases footfall. And one of the additional things that we do that really does keep that person coming back is we offer them 2p per commute mile. So for every mile that they commute, we give them 2p. Initially, it doesn't sound like a lot, but they get that voucher quarterly. And that voucher is to spend back at the bike shop where they initially made their purchase. So we're increasing that footfall and we're bringing them back time and time again for servicing, for tubes, for all the bits and pieces that they may need to keep them on the road. We believe that as an industry we need to be in this together. We need to join the dots between all of us, and we need to embrace the technology that's currently out there to actually provide businesses with a better experience when it comes to getting people cycling. I'm probably going to be quite controversial now, but the cycle to work schemes of old just don't cut it anymore when you look at it from a corporate perspective. Number one, they're not measurable. Most of the people who embark on a cycle to work scheme think it's a brilliant idea. I'll get a shiny new bike. I don't even have to think about the repayments because it comes out of my salary every month. Most of those bikes, after 2 years, end up in the back of somebody's shed, never to be ridden again. They leave the organisation, the salary sacrifice stops, and ultimately we've lost a potential cyclist. And that's not what we want. The idea is to get more people on the road and keep them there. The technology we use means that if a cyclist isn't doing the number of miles that they should be doing, they contribute to the cost of that bike. So the employer is only paying for the miles that that cyclist rides. If the cyclist doesn't ride the number of miles that they need to ride, they then pay a part towards that financial contribution. It's a joint responsibility to well-being. So much of the time these days, benefits are given to people, they take them and they're rarely used. Organisations now, with money the way it is in organisations, Mr. Financial Services Director is looking down on these organisations and saying, where can we tighten spend? Who's not using things? And we give them the opportunity to see things that are being used. We measure the mileage via our app. We give cyclists the opportunity to record it as a commute mileage or as a fitness ride. So we know what type of riding people are doing. We also then obviously provide real-time tracking on carbon savings, mileage reporting to that employer. So they get a whole suite of additional information, a new layer of well-being, environmental and sustainability information that they didn't have before. How many cars have we actually taken off the road? How many bikes have we handed out? And how many of those bikes are actually being used is the most important thing. At the moment, with traditional cycle to work schemes, they can't measure that. There's no way of knowing who's riding it. Yeah, Steve comes in the morning in his Lycra, Steve's ridden to work today. We can generally see that. But when you're talking about the Unilevers of this world, the GlaxoSmithKlines of this world, it's very difficult to track who's actually utilising these benefits, and we've made it easy for these organisations to see it. It's really important that we have a network behind us of retailers and suppliers into that retail that are supporting us to do this. Our goal is to have a local bike shop within half an hour of every single one of our customers by the end of next year. We've only been going a year and we are already in a position whereby we are seeing holes in our retail space, and we need to ensure that we're filling those holes because the customers are coming and we need to give them a great customer experience so that those cyclists are with us and staying with us. And that's where obviously retail come in. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the whole retail side of things here. I'm more than happy for any questions to be answered. We've got a couple of stands, so we're sponsoring the new to cycling area, which is down there. So we're going to be talking to people all weekend about how to get into this, how to talk to their employer about how they can introduce this, and how to actually guide people into what bike is right. Plus we've got a stand G117 over near Oakley over there, which is pretty fatal for me because I know I'm going to spend some money this weekend. Over by Oakley, come and have a chat with us if it's potentially of interest. If you work for a company and you want to introduce this, we can help you do that. Ultimately, if you're already a cyclist and you're already hammering out 100 miles every week, it's a guaranteed free bike for you. But we're looking for champions to actually roll this out within organisations. If you're in retail, come and talk to us. We're looking for more and more bike shops to join us as part of that retailer network providing this service to these cyclists. So come and ask us questions over there. I'll say thank you very much to everybody who's here. Much appreciated, especially you. And come and have a chat with us on the stand. We're here all weekend. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.